All right, folks, what an absolute pleasure to be coming here tonight, Sunday night session, June 25th, 2023. Absolute blessing, this opportunity. I thank God for the opportunity to show up every single day for our community, for my family, and God willing, we are going to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I hope you guys are tapped in. We're moving every single day, and I do want to say that as we get into the heavy news here today, starting out with the current events, World War III update, as I titled this session, Imminent Nuclear Threat. Got a lot to unpack in tonight's episode, and so you got to find some time to get some peace in your life during these times. For me, on a Sunday, out there in the garden with my daughter, and Discord family member Nicole would be proud of me. I was out there grounding, right? Barefoot, allowing the energy from the ether to come up into me. And out there, no sunscreen, soaking up the natural sunlight. And just had a beautiful day. Just had a beautiful time out there with my daughter in the garden. She is kind of a pain. She's throwing the dirt out of the pot as quickly as I can fill it up with dirt. She's out there throwing it out just as fast as I'm filling it up, trying to get some vegetables planted out here and survive this situation. God bless all of you guys for tuning in with me here tonight on these Sunday night sessions. We take some time to unpack everything that's taking place on a more in-depth level, coming to you live tonight, and I appreciate everyone. I'm fired up here on TikTok as well. And so thank you for joining me here tonight. At the end of the session, I will take some Q&A, spend some time with you guys. Really is an absolute pleasure to be here. And a huge shout out to everyone who is supporting the channel. If you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you appreciate our content, smash that thumbs up for us. With that being said, folks, let's take a look at this market before we get into the current events. 30,320, 30,300 for your Bitcoin, 1882 for your Ethereum, and your XRP is going to be at 4868. Just under 50 cents for our XRP, right above 30,000 for our Bitcoin, and just under 1,900 for Ethereum. This is where we're watching the cryptocurrency market as we got on into the current events here, folks. Now, a huge shout out to Mario Nafal on Twitter. Really looking forward to actually joining one of his spaces at some point here in time. Holding it down over there on Twitter, though, Mario Nafal. And I wanted to start out with this tweet because I really felt this one. He says, yesterday started with an attempted coup in Russia and ended with a coup on mainstream media. And that is right, folks. That's why you guys tune in right here, is that we are taking over, right? And we're trying to come in with the most credible, the best sources that we can get across this planet. If you have information, the best way to get information to me is on Twitter. Just send me a DM on Twitter. I try to scan through. I get a lot of them, but I try to scan through. And if you guys have good intel, get in touch with me. You can reach me out at my website as well. We're always available. And if you have good information, if you're a solid source, we appreciate you. And God bless our military, always the best sources. With that being said, Mario Nafal been hosting some of the best conversations over there on the Twitter space. And right now they're actually having a Twitter stream as we speak. They ran ongoing for about 24 hours during the attempted coup in Russia, and it was the go-to place for getting up-to-date information and an open conversation where folks could get checked on their sources, their credibility, their story, their speculation. And that open conversation, that open debate is so healthy for us in a time of mass deception and control of the narrative. With that being said, guys, tonight we titled it Imminent Nuclear Threat. We pray this isn't the case, right? But reports are now circulating that Russia plans to blow up Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is imminent. Now, this is getting shared around Ukrainian intelligence. This is getting shared around Russia as well. The situation over there on high alert, obviously, okay? And it's just going to be an interesting week at hand here, folks. Now, even Charles Hoskinson coming in on the speculation. He says, here's my hot take on Prigozhin. Putin and Prigozhin planned this months before Lukashenko, to tease out members of the Russian military who aren't loyal, reposition Wagner forces to Belarus for a strike on Kyiv, and encourage the Ukrainians to overcommit in the east, thinking they can use the chaos to take ground. Now, this is all speculation still, right? We're trying to, follow this story. But the march on Moscow made no sense, as Russian air support could have easily devastated the roads and caravan. There is no way this was an unexpected event. And I'm running along the same type of speculation. There's no way there was something going on here, because they only laid out a little bit of sand and threw a couple trucks in the road to stop the coup. They threw a little sand out in the road and a few trucks, and that was it. That's not how Putin moves. This is a very interesting situation, still breaking. And now the stories, now the headlines, and now the preparation, as we covered a few episodes ago, even in the United States, Lindsey Graham and the war hawks getting ready to send even more money. Don't worry about the $6 billion we found in the couch. We're going to be sending a whole lot more. And our good men and women, God bless them, that fight for this country, we're going to try to send them over there. Can you believe that, folks? We went from a time of relative peace to World War III update in a matter of just a couple years. And we still have a year and a half of the chaos continuing internally and externally. That's why it's so important that we tap in here on the current events. The kids say stick to crypto. People get offended because I talk about people or certain situations. I'm not here to pick sides. I'm here to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Very simple. But we have to be able to dissect and decode and use our best discernment to cut through the news. We know that the mainstream media is lying to us damn near completely. At best, we're maybe getting a half truth. But now we have Twitter freed up, opened up, incredible conversations taking place over there. And now you're starting to see the mainstream media kind of admitting so much of what we've been talking about and warning about coming live, right? And we continue to pray for peace over in this region, but you guys are seeing that now the level that this has gone to is pretty incredible. And there's many people on both sides speculating, but basically the summary is that there's a lot of folks that think that Ukraine, backed by NATO, backed by operatives, backed by three-letter agencies, backed by I better stop talking about this. I better stop talking about this before I get in trouble. But a lot of folks think that we could be looking at a false flag by the Western powers that be. Intelligence agencies, three-letter agencies. And now this is crazy talk, right? I'm not supposed to be talking about this. I'm going to get in trouble. Even though we are getting it on an every single day basis, it's no longer the small little drips. We have an absolute flood of truth hitting the airwaves. And if you're not calling it out, if you're not speaking on it, the question is why and who's paying you? Because now it's for all to see, right? You only don't speak on it if you're worried about who's cutting you a check. The internal chaos continuing, along with the external situation as well. We pray for peace externally, and God bless the folks here back home as we're trying to save our country ourselves. So it's not crazy talk to be having this conversation. That's why you guys are here. You understand. BlackRock says war is good effing business. This isn't a game. We got billions on the line, trillions on the line. And so we're going to try our best to break down this situation, folks, but you're seeing it right now. This is what we're seeing. Someone has already said it. If I wanted to move 25,000 men to Belarus without arousing suspicion, but rather passing it off as punishment, how could I do it? And how far is the Belarusian border from Kyiv? So some suggestions here that we could have moved the troops in closer to Belarus for a move on Kyiv. So regardless of the imminent nuclear threat, the plant that could get blown up could be used here in the next stage of events. It's unbelievable that we're having this conversation. But then you also are watching the Russian troops, the Russian private military contractors moving as well. And as I've been saying, this is a touchy subject, but the military contractors are gun for hires. So we literally have actors and guns for hire. Everybody's getting a check cut to them. BlackRock says this is good business. They're getting the reconstruction bank in Ukraine along with JP Morgan, who's been proven now and been completely exposed. But JP Morgan gets away with paying a $4 million slap on the wrist fine to put away all their emails. And so I'm going to get to XRP at the end of the session. We're going to get back into crypto. But as we were saying for months now, And as soon as we touched on the buyback conversation last year, we said this is so much bigger than XRP. When the lawsuit got dropped 2 years ago and the XRP community started working right away from the time that the lawsuit got dropped, this is so much bigger than XRP. This is about saving our country, right? We don't care for a buyback. We want our country back. And that's what this mission and purpose has been with us from the very beginning, right? Now let's continue on here, folks. So we got movement being made. Derek Bros, another Twitter account, can't confirm this, but he says, sources in Russia have indicated that they must go dark until further notice. I have 3 inside Moscow and none of them know one another. Something is happening inside. Obviously, this is unconfirmed from Twitter. You know, this is the thing about getting your information from the internet. We can't confirm this, right? But we're seeing from Telegram, we're seeing from inside sources, boots on the ground, folks that are tapped in, saying things like this. There definitely is a next phase of this war picking up. And the reason being is because in a few weeks here, we have the NATO summit. 15 days, folks. The timeline is accelerating rapidly here. 15 days to go until the NATO summit in Vilnius. We are doing everything to ensure that the summit has real content, strong content, positive decisions for Ukraine in Vilnius are the only possible positive decisions for our common security in Europe and in the alliance as a whole. Well, my question is, what alliance? What alliance? Because I don't want to be sending my money anywhere. I want to bring our troops back home. I'm not interested in your alliance. I really think that we need to rein it back in. But okay, this is the objective of the NATO armies. The war hawks, like Lindsey Graham, one of the worst. I can tell I may be under attack right now, guys. My screen's flickering. Maybe I'll try turning off the AC. I don't know if it's my internet or my computer, my power. Had a couple flickers. See what I said? We got 2 over the target. We may be getting attacked. And Zelensky says, thank you to everyone who supports Ukraine. Thank you to America, Mr. President, the Congress, both parties, and all Americans for the historic strengthening of freedom in the world. Thank you to Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and all Canadians for your unwavering support. Thank you to the president here, Andrzej Duda, and everyone in Poland who stands with Ukraine in the defense of Europe. These names are hard from that region. This is what you see here, 15 days until the NATO summit's going to be getting here, and they're going to want to get more support. As Zelensky says, us Americans need to send our young men and women over to fight for his country. No question, no debate. Congress shouldn't declare war like it says in our Constitution. We should just send billions upon tens of billions, maybe waste another trillion like we did in the Middle East. Why don't we just waste another trillion in this region as well? Or is it money wasted when you're on the receiving end of these deals like BlackRock is? So as we see the BlackRocks of the world, the military-industrial complex, and I could list off a few other big pharmas and others that have bought and paid for all of these guys, all of these actors, all of these media talking heads. And the whole agenda does have billions and trillions of dollars on the line, and they're getting caught for some of the most horrific crimes imaginable, and that's why they're willing to play dirty. This isn't a game. It's not a joke. We're not here for memes. We're trying to build wealth, but also survive the chaos and understand that they are willing to play dirty. They are willing to barter because it's billies on the line, right? And so right now we got a huge ramp up, 15 days until the NATO summit. But guys, also remember, we have less than 2 months until the BRICS countries come together for the next BRICS summit as well. So the timeline converging right here on the end of this summer into July through August, it's going to be a hot one, and I hope that you guys are ready. Now, we're going to move on into the crypto update, guys. Take a look at this from Digital Asset Investor. IMF suddenly flips on crypto as... Okay, wait, actually, we are going to be getting into that a little bit later. Okay, I did not mean to get to this article here yet. Digital Asset Investor, we'll pocket that one for a little bit later. We got a few more tweets. Sorry, we're still on the current events. I had a few more. The President of the United States has hired a criminal defense lawyer. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Why they need this type of event. Why a bomb, a big one going off or a plant getting blown up. They have an incentive to have something like this happen. And they're willing to sacrifice innocent lives to make something like this happen. Because they're greedy SOBs. And they have the power. They've hijacked our country through their corporation. And this is why they're willing to play so dirty. The President of the United States has hired a criminal defense lawyer after huddling with Hunter and his lawyers all weekend at Camp David. Will the media continue to run cover for the disgraced president? Will the Democrat Party look the other way? Now, it's almost like the Democratic Party has already given up on Biden, and it seems like they're about to lay Biden to rest here rather quickly, because this situation's moving and accelerating rapidly as the Biden crime family is getting completely exposed. And it is the worst crimes. Selling out our country for bribery and little schemes like that is the least of it. That's the start of this story, folks. 5 million? Are you kidding me? That's a drop in the bucket compared to where this goes and the damages that have been done. Thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. We're rocking and rolling now. And how can you not call this out, right? This isn't political. This isn't left, right. I don't care that Biden's a Democrat, folks. Our country's been hijacked, and they're getting exposed in real time. The man who's in charge of our country, the man that's supposed to be the commander-in-chief. Yeah, okay. Colin Rugg shares this. Earlier this week, we found out that Joe Biden was in the room with Hunter Biden when he demanded money from a Chinese official. Days later, $5 million hit the Biden bank account. We then found out that the Department of Justice stepped in to try to quash the investigation into this exchange. Of course they did. They are getting caught in the cover-up. You would think a revelation like this would be deeply embarrassing to the Biden family. Nope. Instead, they attend a state dinner with Merrick Garland and then leave on vacation for the weekend. They are laughing at you. And there was video circulating of Hunter Biden at a state dinner with Merrick Garland and the Biden family there, Hunter and Joe, hopping aboard the helicopter, heading off to Camp David, right? As they most recently just lawyered up. And you know this is about to get serious. And so, like I said, the external situation getting pretty wild out there. But internally, the chaos within this country is continuing. And when I say that the three-letter agencies and the operators are within this country, and they are willing to do some dirty things for a little check because you got broke boys like this that get paid off by the feds, this is absolutely sick and embarrassing too. And there was a bunch of little punks from the unmasked members of the Patriot Front. These guys are either federal agents masquerading as racists or leftists masquerading as far right. Do you know who these people are? So the question is this our three-letter agencies or is this just some Soros operation? Look at these little broke boys. Little check, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. You want to tell me that these guys stand for something as they cover their faces to come out and protest? This is America. If you're not willing to stand out on the street or protest whatever you're going to do without covering up your face, what are we doing? You have nothing to hide. You have a First Amendment. You're allowed to speak your mind. Go to the street corner. Speak. Let's be heard. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a debate. Show up like little boys because you're so desperate for a little check. The situation's so dire, and they got a whole list of little punk operatives like that they can get to go do anything. You know, drop off the pallet of bricks in the downtown, smash some windows. That's little petty operations, guys. We're talking about operations all the way as we started this stream where they're ready to do the dirty bombs. They're ready to go big with it. Showtime in front of the whole world. And like I said, who has the incentive for all this? The folks that have trillions of dollars backing this, and the communists in our country that we're having to call out. I'm gonna call it like it is. We have those that have infiltrated us that are basically trying to take away everything that made this country great, right? There's no reason for us to be showing up in the street protesting with the mask on. And so sorry, I started ranting because this gets me so excited. But for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, this story here that I just pulled up is the Patriot Front group came to counter protest the Proud Boys or whatever, right? And I'm not here to say thumbs up, thumbs down on any of it, other than these guys are definite operators. I don't know who's cutting their check. It doesn't matter. But the point being, folks, is that this is only going to continue and ramp up for the next year and a half, as those that are funding this evil have no debt ceiling limit. For the next year and a half, they have unlimited budget to move forward with their agenda. And it's this crap that we're weeding out in this country. It's an embarrassing. And so what happened is they show up and they get into a little skirmish and they get unmasked. And you should have seen these little boys covering their faces, running away from the cameras. Can't get exposed, can you? It's a disgrace. But these guys are willing to sell out our country all the way from the ground up, these little pawns. So now we're starting to unmask the little pawns, but we're also starting to expose the Biden crime family all the way up to the very top of this whole scheme, right? The very top of the pyramid scheme, right? The very top of it is getting exposed, and that's why they're willing to go nuclear. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, with that being said, we are going to now move into the cryptocurrency update after this one. FDIC mistakenly released complete version of a document that shows the U.S. government spent $12.7 billion to bail out 10 wealthy depositors amid the banking crisis. So the FDIC mistakenly released that document. Although this should be public, we should know. The people deserve to know this. But this is the point here, guys, is that they have an unlimited budget to bail out their buddies and their friends and to keep the scheme going, right? So much at stake. And now they're starting to get exposed for stuff like this as well. And the banking crisis, we know, is not over. Now you're starting to see the biggest banks, the biggest International Monetary Fund speaking on digital assets, speaking on this situation where we are going to reset, restructure, and revalue. And so Digital Asset Investor shares this one, folks. Let's get right on into it. Thank you for joining me tonight. IMF suddenly flips on crypto as Wall Street fuels a $200 billion Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto price rally. So the IMF going bullish. Let's take a look here from the Forbes article. And this is mainstream. Forbes has been lighting it up with this pro-crypto talk. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other major cryptocurrencies have exploded in recent weeks as the market braces for a $15 trillion earthquake. I already did the show last week, titled it $15 trillion earthquake. I touched on this and how 15 trillion coming into the space is just the start. We'll be settling 15 trillion on a daily basis on DLT technology once we get this thing up and rolling. The Bitcoin price has almost doubled this year, sparking fears the investment window may be closing as traders abandon smaller cryptocurrencies in favor of Bitcoin and its nearest rival Ethereum following a U.S. crackdown that some think is part of a plot to destroy the market. So all by design here, Operation Choke Point achieving, and it's getting everyone to flood into Bitcoin. Ethereum is the next one that's really picking up. All the altcoins struggling right now. I put out a video today. If you're looking for the quick summary on my thoughts, whether we're in a bull trap rally or if this is the start of the next bull run, I dropped a video today. It's 3 minutes long. It's on my YouTube, and you guys can check that out. Okay. I'm going to get into the TA at the end of this session, and I'm going to go a little bit more in depth because I want my audience to understand what's about to take place. Once again, you are seeing the IMF come in here pro-crypto, talking about how bans won't work, talking about how the CBDCs is the future and it's all inevitable. What we've been talking about, for this whole time. But the main point being, guys, is that they are setting up the masses, kind of setting up the crypto space, playing with our emotions during a bear market, pumping this thing up once again. We get the futures ETF approved by the SEC last week. We had about another half dozen firms file Bitcoin spot ETFs. We haven't seen a spot ETF approved yet. Another half dozen firms applied last week. We'll see what the SEC does there. I found it very fascinating that they approved the futures contract last week, because you would think that the futures contract would be regulated by the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. I don't know, if, just because it's an ETF, if that makes it a security, or if the SEC is just trying to claim jurisdiction. So that's why they granted the futures ETF, but they still haven't done a spot ETF. But if you recall, they had approved futures back in 2017. And so basically the long and the short of it is, last time around, they actually set up the whole space by popping the bubble with futures back in 2017 and into 2018. Okay. And so this time around, I'm worried that they're playing us the same way right here. The one thing, though, that I am noticing is that Bitcoin is remaining strong. I will give that to the Bitcoin bros, the Bitcoin boys and girls. I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. I don't care for it, but it's not like I want to see Bitcoin lose. And I understand the role that Bitcoin plays for getting so many people into the space. And another thing is, it gets people, if it gets people thinking about investing, I don't care if it's NFTs. I don't care if it's memes I don't care if it's Pepe coin. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. That is good, right? This is the move to adoption of DLT. Where this all goes, though, is utility, technology that actually is going to solve serious problems. Once again, the market back up, but I'm going to get into the TA at the end of this session here, folks. But what you're seeing right now from Forbes, from the mainstream, they're really pushing this thing up. Bitcoin pumping up to 31.5 yesterday. It's already done about 100% rally from the low of 15,000. So we went up 100% from there. And so it's very good, but I'm going to get into the TA at the end of this session. I just dropped a full update on the current trade that I'm in, my technical analysis combined with my fundamental analysis yesterday in our Discord weekly call. So if you want the full update on this, it's going to be in the Discord group, and I dropped that yesterday. All of our weekly calls are recorded for the Discord members. That's on my website, zachrector.com. Okay. Now, let's get into this crypto stuff, folks. There's a lot of talk from the Twitter talking. I'm going to have to take a sip of my adult beverage before we get into this, folks, because the Twitter and the TikTok talking heads have been doing what they do best, trying to find some Ripple FUD. They're still looking. They're still searching. Can't find much, can you? Roll. I come in here to set this straight. We've been studying and we've been listening and reading everything put out by Ripple. Every time David speaks, every time Brad speaks, anyone from the team speaks, we're on it. It's the same thing that the Twitter sleuths have been doing with the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. We've been doing this in the XRP community for years, right? And so for me, it's been since 2019. And I got in at a time when Ripple changed up their whole strategy for how they're dealing with their XRP, right? They stopped selling it to the secondary markets and, basically making it more available for us. And they exclusively only started selling it to their on-demand liquidity institutional partners. Then the lawsuit dropped. And now actually in the last year or two, we've actually seen them start to buy back XRP. So just to set the record straight, that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here for hype. I'm not here for clickbait. You don't see an O face from me. I want our community to understand, cut through the BS, cut through the hype, cut through the narratives. The Twitter talking heads, they have a lot to say, but they never have a solution. They never have an answer. There's no conclusion. They're just always still looking for more Ripple FUD. They can't find anything after years. All they find is that Ripple is a very transparent company that cares about growing XRP liquidity. That's all they find. Like all these new things that they find, they come up with, they make a TikTok, they do something, they think they got them. If you really look at it as an adult who understands making money, it all makes sense what Ripple's doing. Of course, right? So we're going to get into it, folks. There is basically an article was getting shared in a narrative getting shared here recently that Ripple was going to conduct a 10 billion XRP buyback. Okay, they were going to buy back 10 billion XRP. There was no source. I immediately said it was fake, but I did clarify in my tweet where I said this is most likely not true. This is probably fake, but the fact remains that Ripple does continue to buy back a considerable amount of XRP. And I'm going to show you guys in the Q4 market report, they told us how they purchased $2.7 billion worth of XRP in Q4, $2.5 billion worth in Q3. And they essentially bought back about, I think it was $8 or $9 billion worth of XRP last year in 2022. So yeah, there's fake BS getting shared about XRP all the time. And it makes our community look bad, and narratives get ran, and the clickbaiters and the YouTubers go with it, right? I try to just cut through the noise. Like, no, that's probably not a true story. But if you actually know what the hell you're talking about, and you've been studying Ripple and XRP, you would know that they bought back nearly $10 billion worth of XRP last year. So they already did it, right? Now, relatively speaking, right? I don't even have the numbers in front of me yet. I'm going to show you guys here shortly. But you're talking about almost $10 billion worth of XRP was bought back. So they already are conducting systematic buybacks of XRP, and they're doing that to then use in their ODL customers with their ODL flows, right? And so I'm about to show you guys a few tweets on this. This has been a hot topic in the community once again. Once again, we're having to talk about the word buyback. Uh-oh, can't say the word buyback. Golly. Shut them down. They've been buying back billions of dollars worth of XRP every quarter for well over about a year and a half now. They're buying billions of dollars worth of XRP back every single quarter, right? And so this is why I say, you know, a lot of folks trying to come along here and they're trying to spread FUD. And the sad part is that they do connect, right? You know, these are good. So maybe they have good intentions. I guess they're just trying to help people out. But the narrative and the spin that they're putting on all this stuff as if it's bad. Like the most recent talk was that Ripple was going to activate XRP influencers. And now it's, oh my gosh, Ripple's buying off influencers. Like every other project in crypto didn't do that. That's what the whole space is built off of, is influencers shilling. Who's the one influencer with an audience of my size that's never taken a check from anybody? Me. The only one with an audience of my size that's never taken one damn check, right? This whole space was built off of checks getting cut to somebody. Now, when they say activate influencers, who knows? Maybe that's cutting influencers' checks. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just engaging in the XRP community on Twitter. Maybe David knows that his role of putting out some tweets continues to activate the community. This is what every project does. People are just jealous that Ripple is being the most successful and XRP is building out the best liquidity in the world. The community, along with Ripple, is going to be able to put a dent in the damn universe. We're going to be able to change up the financial system as we know it. 100% zero doubt. And so haters are jealous. You got folks trying to spread misinformation, disinformation, and that's because they're bait off by Ethereum or a project that's built on Ethereum. Or all these other guys, you can't trust them because you don't know if when they're talking about a project on whether or not they've been paid by it or not. With me, you know, I don't accept checks from these guys. We get hit up every single day. And so this is what's been so interesting for me as a content creator for 2 years is to watch this space. They thought that buying some influence would work out, and it doesn't. Where it works out is building real utility, real customers, and a community that we have here in the XRP community. And it just hurts me to see these fudsters, these other folks, misleading so many people, and even XRP accounts that you know were really big into the XRP community. And then they just flip. And now it's all, you know, oh, wow, I'm mad that Brad hasn't made me rich yet. I'm mad that Ripple hasn't distributed enough XRP yet. Folks get mad that Ripple doesn't distribute XRP, but then God forbid they would incentivize some banks or financial institutions to use XRP. That's being spun as something that's bad. No, we want them to get banks and institutions to use XRP. If they have to give them some XRP on a discount, please do so, Ripple. Thank you. Love to see you guys continue building liquidity. And if you read the quarterly reports, they're so damn transparent. And these guys are still trying to expose. They're so desperate, so anxious to say, I gotcha when it comes to Ripple. There's nothing there. Besides Ripple cares about building liquidity for XRP. And yeah, they're managing and they're being responsible custodians of the escrow, and they're trying to get rid of it. They give $250 million in an NFT creator fund, and then people in the community bitch that they gave them to bad projects. What are they supposed to do, right? Give money to everybody who's building on XRP? I mean, that's the thing, is the legitimate players and business operators haven't come into the space yet, and they're trying to, but we have been weaponized, a weaponized regulator that's come after us in the form of the SEC. So folks like myself that know how to run successful businesses are doing it, are ready and anxious to come build on the XRP ledger, are not out of fear of getting sued by our own government. But if you look, and I'm about to show you guys, we now have this list here from Wrath Economin, a list of all known ODO users as of April 2021. In the report by P. Adrians, a table of XRP use cases is given. It denotes 23 ODO users, the largest single compilation so far. It has grown since, but it's a very useful starting point. And if you look here at this list, the ODO users noted as of 2021, obviously, this has grown substantially. But the thing that you'll notice is that you got a few banks, Euro Exim Bank, you got a couple others there, MoneyGram. But what you see here is mostly, these are payments companies, right? These are not banks. And that's the whole point, is that a lot of these banks can't start using XRP ODL because we don't have clarity and because the SEC sued Ripple. In 2021, these are all users, folks that started to settle with XRP on-demand liquidity, even in the middle of the lawsuit, because they were either outside of the United States, or in the case of MoneyGram, they trialed it, it worked out for a while, and then they turned the switch off because of the lawsuit. And then they start working with Stellar, right? But you'll notice that these are a lot of just payments companies, and we're waiting for the legitimate players, and we're waiting for the banks and institutions to come in. And all that's come out in these emails is that Ripple's giving incentives, giving, XRP to some of these exchanges, or paying exchanges in XRP to list XRP. Basically helping these exchanges be funded and have the ability to provide liquidity on the exchanges. And then we get the Twitter talking heads that try to spin this as negative. It's like, no, we need more corridors, right? We need to continue building liquidity across the planet. So whether it's money transfers, whether it's exchanges, we're trying to get banks. We can only get banks and institutions in a big part outside of the United States. But if you think for 1 second that this has stopped institutions and banks in the United States from signing a pre-allocation contract for XRP before they have clarity to start using ODL, Digital Asset Investor has an igloo in South Georgia for you, right? He's still selling it, okay? Because I'm here to say you have institutions like Bank of America that have been bragging about how they're ready to use XRP as soon as the lawsuit's over. Right? They're anxious to use XRP on-demand liquidity after the lawsuit is over, and that is BOA, one of the systemically important banks within this country, right? Now, I see we got a super chat here from Slinky1284. Ripple is so transparent that the rest of the crypto space hates Ripple and XRP because of it. Couldn't have said it exactly to the point. 100%. They are jealous of the success of Ripple and of XRP. Now, let me read off this one here from Tipsy Tiger, Still Tiger Mike on Twitter. This is how Ripple is making money, by the way that they're selling XRP and then buying it back and trading it. Tipsy Tiger here breaks it down. He says, damn, this is a long one. I was originally highly critical of ODL publicly when I understood exactly what was happening, but it's undeniable it has played an important role for utility adoption, especially since the lawsuit. You don't think, right? I mean, this is what the whole thing we've been talking about, right? This is institutional utility. Everyone should understand this is also a legitimate product for Ripple to sell its XRP, which in turn ends up in the secondary markets. It should also not be lost on people that it is purely down to Ripple how much XRP it decides to buy back and when. One simple scenario for people to wrap their head around. On the 1st of June, Ripple sells about 100 million XRP at 50 cents, and they gross about 50 million. On June 7th, Ripple buys $100 million worth of XRP, or 100 million XRP at 46 cents once the prices come back down for $46 million. They end up with the same amount of XRP with a 4 million gross profit. So as trading XRP, right, and buying it back, and then also having the ability to fund these ODL partners across the world, right? This is why it's a better deal for them to return 900 million back to the escrow at the start of the month and buy back XRP from the secondary market and the exchanges. Because then they can turn around and then sell it to their partners for ODL. And that was another interesting note of this last month, is that they only released 100 million XRP. They sold off 100 million XRP and they returned 900 million XRP back to the escrow. And if you don't recall, they get 1 billion XRP every single month released to them from the escrow. On average, over the last couple years, they have been returning about 75% of it back to the escrow, 75, 80%. So they've been selling off or keeping about 200, 300 million XRP per month while they return more XRP back. And then they go back to the secondary market and they buy, and then they're making profit while arbitraging. The volatility of XRP obviously moves very, very rapidly, very quickly, and very dramatically. I think it's important to understand Ripple are conscious of its XRP holdings, so it's likely it's not just about money. It's also about reducing the XRP held sensibly. Exactly. Folks want them to distribute XRP. Well, they can't just go start dumping 1 billion XRP per month on the market. On the open market, you guys know what that would do, right? I'm not really paying attention to much to what's said in the Ripple emails. My take, it's a company still navigating, understanding its product offering. If anything, that's more shocking to me. A lot of this deposition, the stuff was taken years ago, though. So much has already changed just from what's being shared in these emails that are years old, guys. So, not only are these Twitter talking heads trying to put a negative spin on this stuff, this is years old, a lot of it. So they've learned a lot since then. It's just they don't speak on this, completely letting everyone know their business strategy, right? What company does that? But they do offer the quarterly reports. Every quarter they put it out and let us know what they're doing with their XRP and how the success continues. No company would want their emails out in the public sphere. Things said about clients, products, business partners, earnings, employees, the public, etc. Trust me, it's a no-no. And if this is the worst the SEC can muster, for me, it's not bad. Exactly. It's not bad at all. Most of it's positive. I will also just say Ripple looks out for Ripple, so trust but verify. 100%, they got a business to run. Now, for those who made it this far, well done. ODL gives Ripple a first mover advantage where they can make a lot of money and gain a lot of XRP back in the process if they want. With all the above in mind, this is why it's important for others to build on the XRP ledger. ODL is a prime example of this. XRP community members could pool their resources to offer a similar product. Tech professors, financial professors, etc. get together and create, learn from Ripple's mistakes, build something better, and use that to offer a product to XRP holders where they can earn a weekly, monthly return on their XRP, as opposed to Ripple benefiting by repeating a simple process over and over again. And that's the breakdown here, folks, of how Ripple is managing and being responsible, disciplined stakeholders of the XRP escrow. This is from the quarterly report. And they say last quarter, total XRP sales by Ripple net of purchases was 226 million versus 300 million in the previous quarter. Ripple has continued to sell XRP only in connection with ODL transactions. But let's go back and look here. Q3 of 2022. They bought $2.5 billion worth of XRP. And they sold $2.8 billion worth of XRP. That's why the net sales is 300 million. Q4, they sell 2.9, but they bought back $2.7 billion worth of XRP. Now, like I said, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the total on the year last year was close to $10 billion worth of XRP. So not 10 billion XRP, but $10 billion worth of XRP is how much Ripple bought back in the game that they're playing with their on-demand liquidity. And I'm just calling it that, but folks are trying to put this negative spin on it. And it's like, no, this is how you create a healthy market. They're being responsible custodians. They have to fund their business. People want them to distribute XRP so it's not as centralized, right? And this is how we build liquidity. You have to build liquidity by maintaining price stability. This is why they've already created market makers, automated market makers. They have the most sophisticated bots that they're running along with some of the best in the space. They're hiring for every position, but you better believe that they'd hire some of the best folks in the world for understanding markets and building out liquidity. You can't just dump the XRP at once on us. You can't just like ramp it up 0 to 100, right? And so what we've been seeing is the flip of the switch in these smaller regions. Little payments company here, 23 ODL clients as of 2021 April. The story's grown a lot more since then, right? And so now we also see that people get upset because they're incentivizing partners. They're giving them XRP on the cheap. No, this is what we want. We need banks and institutions to use it. The incentives there to them, to influencers, I don't know of any influencer that's gotten paid by Ripple. I honestly don't. And I talked to all these guys. I don't know one. Right? Now, I know that Ripple did do a $250 million NFT fund, and then people in the community bitch that they gave it to the wrong people, to bad projects. At least they're distributing some damn XRP, and they're trying to build the ecosystem. Even if 9 out of 10 fail, they have funded and helped out some legitimate projects. Do they care about their business? Do they care about funding their business? Absolutely. They spent $200 million on a lawsuit. They could have settled by now. They could have called it quits. They could have abandoned XRP and just started using something else. If they didn't, need XRP, if they were just going to use RippleNet without using XRP, without using DLT, they wouldn't have spent $200 million battling the SEC, right? So they have literally spent hundreds of millions of dollars on fighting for XRP clarity, distributing an NFT fund, $250 million. It was the largest NFT fund at the time in the whole damn crypto space. Are 9 out of the 10 projects crap? Probably, right? That's not the point. The point is they have more XRP to distribute to folks that are building on the ledger. And it's a free open source platform. They didn't have to do this. They don't have to go back to the secondary markets and buy XRP, right? They could just take the XRP that's released to them from the escrow and give that to their ODL partners. But for some reason, they want to return 90% of that XRP back to the escrow last month. Last month, here June 1, we only are going to release 100 million XRP. We're going to return 90% back. Now, obviously, you get into the speculation of, is the escrow already pre-allocated or not? That's purely speculation. But I would say that absolutely, you have some XRP that has been pre-allocated. And David Schwartz providing additional clarity. He says, we do sometimes buy XRP, but I don't know of anything specific that this could be referring to, and there's no official source mentioned. And that is the story that was getting shared around. Now, it looks like this, even Crypto Eddie kind of put this website on blast that shared this. They shared this with no source, just out of the blue. They come out with this article. And very strange, very odd, but that is what we were talking about here. And as David is clarifying, as I just showed you guys in the report, they do buy back XRP. They just can't speak on this. And that's why David leaves it at that, right? He says, we do sometimes buy XRP, but I don't know of anything specific that this could be referring to, and there's no official source mentioned. Now, the thing is and what's so funny about this in the XRP conversation is that there is a half-truth in this. When you, like I said, you go back and you look at how much they did buy back last year in 2022, it was a lot. It was billions of dollars worth, right? 2.7 billion in Q4, $2.5 billion worth in Q3, right? So nearly $10 billion worth of XRP was bought back by Ripple last year. So that is a buyback that is occurring, right? A lot of debate, a lot of confusion, a lot of feelings, right? What I try to do for the XRP community is just to cut through that nonsense, cut through that BS, understand the technology enough, understand how we can utilize this technology within our businesses. That's also going to be a must, right? But then taking and cutting through the noise and giving our community realistic expectations of where this thing could go. And when I say realistic expectations, I'm talking about settling trillions of dollars daily somewhere. Is it all on XRP? I don't know. I don't know how big of the slice of the pie Ripple and XRP is going to get. But I will tell you right now, from reading these quarterly reports, from doing research every single day on this project within this community that's so powerful, so strong, all I have found is continued success for Ripple, building out liquidity for XRP, being responsible custodians of the escrow, getting ready after spending $200 million to fight for clarity for this little precious XRP coin that they didn't have to protect. They don't have to care about. Or do they? Because Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse said, XRP is the heartbeat of Ripple. And folks confuse the facts. The Twitter and the TikTok talking heads do what they do best. And I hate to see folks get fudded out of their investment, lose patience, keep their eyes off the prize. Or what you'll also see is folks not have a plan, an exit strategy, or if you're going to reallocate your investments somewhere else when we get to a certain price. Because this thing is going to go. I don't have it. One sec, folks. My apologies. We're back. We're back. I forgot where I was at, though. Sorry for that interruption, folks. Where we're at, guys, is these Twitter talking heads want something to talk about. And as I was saying, we have this thing that's going to go conservatively to a price that changes a lot of people's lives. And they're not going to have an exit strategy planned out. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to be thinking too emotionally. And the FUD and the nonsense that you're seeing now will only pick up and continue. And then when you see price action from $10 back down to $2, from $20 back down to $5, a lot of people are going to get shaken out of their bags. And for me, I'm looking at how much the dollar is being devalued, how much money, how much value, how much settlement is going to be taking place on DLT. And somewhere in between there is the truth on where XRP is going to go. As far as how quickly is XRP going to get distributed, we're watching the escrow account get, dropped 200, 300 million per quarter, per month by Ripple. But at any point, Ripple could just cut it off. At any point, Ripple could pick it up. What I see is Ripple acting responsible to make sure that this ecosystem is growing, that the utility is growing, which will naturally move the price up. But what's important is to not just send this thing up and make it incredibly volatile when they're trying to get serious banks and institutions to adopt this technology. That's the situation at hand here with Ripple XRP. I hope that everybody is prepared for takeoff here because we don't know when it could occur. Whether we're looking at a settlement next month, Brad said weeks, not months. Everybody on Team Ripple is saying this year. So we know we should be approaching a decision, a resolution, the next phase of the case at any moment in time, right? So with that being said, I wanted to share a little bit of technical analysis on where this market is going, in my opinion, before I ended this session. So if you guys appreciated this breakdown, if you appreciate the live session here tonight, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up. Make sure you've subscribed, hit the notification bell. I'm going to take some Q&A after I show you guys this TA. I've laid out the fundamentals. I've laid out the situation at hand. Now, where does this market go next? Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. I appreciate all of you guys for coming in on this Sunday session. God bless you guys. I see we got a little blurry there, didn't we? Let me move up. There we go. There we go. Getting a little blurry out here. What we're looking at, folks, is the sticks on a weekly chart, okay? Weekly chart, and if you look back we go back to the previous bull run, okay, guys? So the previous halvenings were in May of 2020 and July of 2016. What you'll notice is that after the halvening, we get this massive run up in 2017, takes us all the way up to 20K, right? That was a lot of fun. This is right when I started to get the attention of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. This is when I started to move into digital assets right here. I bought in all through 28 into Bitcoin as it was going down through this bear market. Now, if you will look here, Bitcoin actually bottomed out about a year after it topped out. So it topped out December 2017. It bottoms out December 2018 at 3K. But what happens next? Well, we get a 342% bull trap rally that takes Bitcoin from 3K up to about 13K. Now, I remember this because I was in the space, and boy, did folks get excited. Folks thought it was the beginning of the next bull run. We had a lot of excitement. 300% pump from 3K back to 13K. We thought that Bitcoin was making a comeback, but this was before we continued the bear market all through 2019 back down to where we bottomed out in the March 2020 events. So, whatever you want to call it, the events of 2020, the simulations of 2020, that is what brought us back down to 3K after we experienced that 300% bull trap rally in December of 2018 all the way through June of 2019. Sorry, this was, December 2018, July 2019. 342% rally. Now, what I did is I took this fractal right over here from the lows of December to the March 2020 crash. I took this fractal right here. That's what this is. And you'll see it doesn't match up perfectly, right? And the experts on TA can make fun of me all they want for my TA. I don't really care. My point being here, folks, is that you're following something similar. You can move this fractal around. You can play with this. But what you need to understand is that the Bitcoin actually didn't begin its bull run until it bottomed out in March. And then that was 2 months right before that next halvening. And then that's what took Bitcoin up to 69K after we dropped interest rates back to zero. The Fed unleashed the most stimulus that we've seen ever, printing almost over 25% of the US currency in existence got printed during 2020 and the events preceding that. And what happened was Bitcoin goes up to 69K, November 2021. You will find once again that 1 year later in November, we bottom out at 15.5. This has been the most recent lows during this bear market. And what we are currently experiencing, I'll just delete that fractal. What we are currently experiencing, folks, is about a 100% rally. This move right here. Let's get a rough measurement on this. 100% rally right there. From about 15.5 to about 31.5, you're looking at about a 100% rally. So nowhere near the 342% that we experienced back in the previous bull run, or previous bear market, I should say. But obviously, Bitcoin was a little bit more immature back then. It was a little bit easier to move it back then. You have a much more mature Bitcoin, a lot more money in it, so it takes a lot more money to move it. But we have experienced a fantastic rally that started really during the beginning of the year when we saw a massive amount of manipulation come in at the Paxos Treasury with Binance printing BUSD. We saw Circle print a bunch, and we've seen Tether print a bunch. Now we see there's a new stablecoin that was launched on Binance last week. And so as the manipulators are getting caught, as the party comes to an end, as the SEC takes Operation Choke Point into the next phase, you are seeing these exchanges get desperate. They don't care, one final last leg, and they're really pumping this thing up. Getting this thing back up to 31.5 is impressive. Bitcoin's dominance is impressive. But what I'm looking at right now, folks, is all the way out until April of next year is the next halvening. So what are we going to see between now and then take place for Bitcoin, right? Can it extend up to 35, 40K? Absolutely, right? You're talking about a 200% rally from that low. We did 342% last bear market. So maybe we are going to go up. We are going to have a little fun for a little bit, right? But what I'm worried about is you guys saw on that fractal back in the events of March 2020, we got taken back down, and we got taken back down to about 3K, which was dang near the previous low that we'd sent 3,000. That was 1 year after Bitcoin topped out. So are we going to go back and retest 15? Are we going to go set a new low? I think that we're going somewhere in between. Right now, I have a Bitcoin short placed. I added to my Bitcoin short while Bitcoin was at 30,600. And so now my average buy-in is 29,729. So at the time of this recording, my Bitcoin short is actually down. I am not in profit. Okay. But I am not sweating. And actually, like I said, I added to my position because I think that even if they can push this thing up and have a little bit of fun, the macroeconomic picture is what checks us back down. And we still have a lot here to unpack and unwind. The only thing here that we're watching for is the Fed pivot. We got the soft pivot. We got the pause. And so the pause started the party again. Temporarily, we started a party for Bitcoin and for the stock markets because we got the Fed pause, right? Jerome Powell didn't say that he's filling up the punch bowl again, but he just said that, he might consider, right? But they also didn't rule out 2 more interest rate hikes this year. And so a lot of the bots and the algorithms that buy that news, that buy that headline, right? They miss the part where they say that there could be 2 more interest rate hikes later this year. Then it comes to the mainstream media, the broader cryptocurrency space getting excited over the ETFs once again, which is exactly what took place last time around when they popped the Bitcoin bubble back in 2017 and they bragged about it, right? And so what are we about to see here now as we see Operation Choke Point going into another level? We see the manipulation still running rampant. And what have they been able to do? They've been able to push Bitcoin up to 31.5. Pretty impressive. A lot of folks coming into crypto now, and they are going to Bitcoin. A lot of folks that were diversified in 100 different altcoins that were, really had no utility. They didn't even really know what they were investing in, right? But they thought if I just throw something against the wall, I'll see what sticks. So I have 100 different meme coins. And then they realized that all of them are going to be securities, right? That most of them do meet the prongs of the Howey test. And they did an unregistered ICO offering of securities. And so people are dumping that crap and they're moving back into Bitcoin. And so that's why I commend, Bitcoin slightly, right? Some of this is natural. Folks are getting out of the securities, getting out of the memes, getting out of the BS, going back to that store of value that has more track record, is much more solid, right? I'm not going to be buying Bitcoin. I don't care to own any Bitcoin, right? But I get the narrative. And like I said, it gets people into crypto. The other big part here that we need to unpack and understand is that you do have a $15 trillion earthquake, but it ain't coming all to Bitcoin. It definitely can't get settled on Bitcoin, right? Now, Bitcoin can function as a store of value and it can go up to a certain market cap. But when you talk about a $15 trillion earthquake getting settled every single day, it ain't happening on Bitcoin. It's not happening on the Lightning Network, but it is going to happen on the XRP ledger and other DLT technologies that can actually scale and efficient and have had no downtime in over 12 years. That's the story for XRP, the first cryptocurrency with clarity in the United States. Once we're set free, the utility is going to only ramp up from there as more developers leave Ethereum, leave these other blockchains that they thought the program was kind of working out, it was kind of cute, and it was easy to build your meme coin on. Now they're going to come to the real ledger. They're going to come to the standard, and you guys know what happens next after that. So I want our community to be prepared. I want us to be ready, and that's why we continue to press on. What we're building right now on the back end is pretty big, pretty massive for the Discord community, working in our businesses every single day, getting ready to move on real estate. We've been stacking our precious metals. I was out in the garden today, soaking up some sunlight, spending time with family, and that's what it's all about. We have the most crazy news you could imagine. Whoever thought that we would be titling a session Imminent Nuclear Threat? Not in a way of clickbait. This is actually what's taking place. This is our reality. I'm just trying to decode it for you guys and help you guys understand how we can take advantage of this opportunity, how we can get rich, how we can build some wealth, God willing, and hopefully survive the chaos. I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. I do have to run. I went a little bit long, okay? But if you guys are looking to get your questions answered, you can get in touch with me over at my website, ZachRector.com. We have the resources to get your precious metals, get your crypto. And if you want to get tapped in with our investment community, I would love to see you guys over there. Okay. With that being said, guys, if you could please smash it on the way out and make sure you subscribe to that notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.